Welcome back to the Willy Bragg Show. I am your host, Willy Bragg. I'm back after streaming just a few short hours ago, so once again. But this time, almost 2 weeks afterwards, the last guest I have lives in Moscow, and the current guest I have right now. What's the name of that town again?
Nizhny Vartovsk. It's in Siberia.
Okay.
Hey, Punisher. Punisher's here. What's up, Punisher?
What's up, Punisher? The town, she says. Today we have Nikkichka. I'm sorry, Nikkichka. We knew her by her previous name. Is it okay if I say your previous name?
Yeah.
Radical leftist agenda. Now she's Nikkichka, and she's.
I even want to change it again.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, we're just getting used to it.
I'm indecisive.
Yeah, that's okay.
Sorry.
Remember, I had a couple of names on this channel prior to, So, just and considering what my name was 3 years ago when you and everyone else didn't know who I was. So, you knew what my original name was on this channel, right?
I don't remember.
Oh, this is embarrassing. It was Bernie Bro. That was going to be the name of the channel.
Well, didn't you say you're the original Bernie Bro? I remember you saying that.
Yes, I am. And that was my last video. Said I would never donate another dime to him again. So
smart.
And I freaking mean it. Don't hate him, but just can't do it anymore. But anyway, glad to see you here. And as I said,
Thanks for having me.
Yes, and tell us how life is, and we'll take it from there.
Now, I mean, my life is kind of I don't know. I haven't been doing much. Actually, since I've got into Russia, it's been pretty bad weather. I fell twice on the ice, and I got sick. Like, all of this stuff happened, so now it's finally the snow and everything starting to melt. So I'm probably going to be able to tell you more in a few months, but I knew that you wanted to interview me, and so I was like, okay, let's do this. But I feel like, maybe I don't have enough to tell you. Maybe I have to come back and tell you more. So far, everyone that I've met has been super nice, and it's just cold.
Yeah, and no, I think you're going to have a lot to say because what I wasn't able to ask Fiorella in her hour, I was like, well, heck, that gives me quite a few questions to ask you. So, and I think you'll be able to answer them pretty easily and all of that.
Let's see. I don't know.
I'm sure. So anyway, well, for starters, how long was that flight?
Well, my first flight I took from Raleigh because I was at my dad's house. So from Raleigh to New York is like an hour or something. But you're in the airport longer than you are in the plane, and then from New York to Istanbul, maybe it's like 12 or something hours, something like that. And the flight was delayed, and I thought I was going to miss the next plane. And then I think from Istanbul to Moscow, maybe it was like 4 or 5 hours, something like that. I was in transit for at least like 23 hours. I felt like shit by the time I got there. And when I went through the immigration and everything, there was a bunch of people. There's a bunch of people like coming off the international flight, so everyone has to go through immigration. So I was looking for the line that like foreigners can go to, and all the lines have pretty much like lines behind them. So I got in one of the lines that foreigners can go through, and I'm just waiting and waiting and waiting. And by the time I actually got to the front, even though there was people behind me in other lines, when I finally got to the front, I was the only person left waiting to go through. So I was like, "This is bullshit. This is bullshit."
Oh, I know what you're talking about. As far as the delays on the flights, because I've traveled around. Not as seasoned of a traveler as you are. I mean, I've done my fair share, but you certainly put me to shame. You living in Thailand and now in Russia and all of that.
Well, it's more like me living than actually traveling a lot of places.
Well, it's still,
I wish that I was.
you've actually seen more of the world. I got England and Ireland and France to brag about, but I mean, my God, Thailand, Russia. I mean, you really got some stories, I'm sure, or I know you will have some stories to share, especially down the road. So, yeah,
Maybe.
there's that. And I mean, well, hell, I mean, maybe I will when I go to Portugal next year. If I go to Portugal, I'll see how things go.
If you go, what happened? Why might you not go?
Oh, well, the money situation, whatever. And just things can come up because I had made plans. They had made plans in the past to take a trip and it just didn't take place whenever I wanted to. Just things happen in life. And
True.
So, yeah. So anyway, going through customs, immigration, all that. I mean, I understand that, it's just, once you go through that and you're actually officially in the destination. It's a matter of just getting to your destination, wherever it is, hotel or wherever you're going to be. And you'll be like, whew, I made it, Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah. So, but, yeah. So, let's see. So you were first in Moscow. So, yeah, just tell us what Moscow's like.
I don't know. It's not exactly how I imagined it to be. Not that I really expected anything. I felt like, well, there seems to be different areas. First of all, it's really huge. It's larger than I thought it was going to be. Because, the big cities I'm used to, like I lived in New York City, it seems a lot bigger than New York City, at least the area wise. The train seems pretty nice. I heard the train is so nice. And then the first train that I got on where we were staying is not the nicest area of the train. So I was like, oh, that's pretty basic. But the station was nice. Like all the stations are different. And a lot of them that I saw, because of course I didn't go to all of them. They look nice. And then I saw the nicer train. So the train was nice and they all have like outlets to charge your phone and stuff, which is convenient. I don't even know if they have that in New York now because I haven't been to New York in forever. I know they didn't have it in LA because I've been on the train in LA or the trolley in San Diego. Let's see. I don't know. I kind of like the way that the neighborhoods, I guess, are set up because there's supermarkets everywhere. There's like places to get everything. There's malls or whatever all over the place. And you don't have to really go everywhere unless you want to go to a specific location to do something specific. But the neighborhoods seem to have everything that you need. And even here, it's like that too. It's like that too. And I think, well, I'm also in a city here in Nizhny Novgorod. It's not like the middle of nowhere area, but I like that. It looks pretty convenient.
Right. Yeah, well, I remember seeing one of your pictures, Kentucky Fried Chicken, and that threw me. I was like, they still there in Russia? Because I know they.
Oh, it's painted on the stairs, or it's like a film or something. That's from this underground mall. That place is kind of near the Red Square area. And I just thought it was funny, so I took a picture. That's it.
But it's still in business and operation and all that, right?
I saw some when I was in Moscow, KFC, but apparently they've sold all of their stuff to become what KFC used to be, Rollsticks, if I'm not mistaken. So now Rollsticks like opening up or like they're the rebranding or whatever. But I saw that they opened the Rollsticks here, and it said the menu is going to be the same. I think they're just changing the name. And I just read right before the stream that Adidas lost like a lot of sales from Russia, so now they're gonna come back to Russia but under another name, like, or being sold by another name. It's kind of like when I was in Thailand. When I was there, they didn't have the Apple store. They had iStudio store or something that sold Apple stuff. The thing is gonna be like that, just like some bullshit workaround to sell your stuff in the sanctioned country or whatever. Curtis, what's up? I see him on the chat.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, sort of. I guess it's sort of like around here in the United States, you see Exxon gas station, but if you go down to Puerto Rico, they still kept the old name Esso from from years past. I mean, of course, Yeah, I mean, I guess it's sort of the same principle, I guess. So,
I've seen those SO signs though, like the old SO signs, like around places like in North Carolina or wherever. I've seen the old signs before in the US.
really, I have not seen Esso, but I mean, I believe you.
No, 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 no. I just saw the signs, not actual gas station.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Okay, I thought I'm like, really? That would be interesting. You know, they kept the old brand and all of that. So, I mean, the fact
Maybe.
that there are American businesses, I guess, still in operation in Russia. Weirdly weird saying this since I'm anti-capitalist, but I guess it's kind of encouraging because that means that maybe there's a little bit of hope on negotiation and to de-escalate what's going on and all of that, and just wanting to see this thing get back to normal, get to see everything gets back to normal. Well, the previous normal, which wasn't ideal, but certainly better than what it is now.
Yeah, but what about what's going on in China?
Oh, that's, you see, that's what kills me. Some of the Americans here on the conservative side who are like, yeah, who are correct
My
about
dad.
about Russia, to not go and pick a fight with Russia. They're correct, but pardon my language. But a lot of these conservatives, they want to start a fight with China over Taiwan. I'm like, don't you realize if you start a fight with China over Taiwan, you're still going to piss off Russia and say that to the shit lips, trying to, you're not really trying to pick a fight with China. Great. But if I'm talking about individual shit lips, but if you're going to go and have that attitude, but you're going to try to be cheering a fight with Russia, you're going to piss off China. I mean, it's just like, what the hell's wrong with people? Yeah,
people are so crazy. I've been in I try not to engage that much in the arguments on Instagram and Twitter, but I've had like in the past 24 hours someone claim that I'm somehow a Trumper for whatever my response, and then the other one called me a communist, a liberal communist, a liberal communist.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, okay, this anytime I make a response,
a tanky Trumpster,
yeah.
right?
Am I a MAGA communist?
I was thinking that MAGA communism.
No.
So, good Lord. Yeah. But yeah, just kind of like, I don't know. It's just, you just want to see this whole insanity you just want to see sanity, saner minds and people be more rational. And here's the thing. I mean, and I had to explain this a lot. Huh? Oh,
I feel like it's not happening.
Yeah, you have to explain this to people and all of that. And you don't worry, you're not the first person to have been called a liberal communist or a Trumper. Just never mind that, never mind what I spell out what my politics is. Everybody will sit there and still project the opposite at times. I'm like, I decided, what's the use? Let them think what they want to think, So that's where it's at.
That's all you can do.
Yeah. So, well, I know that since 1991, when the Soviet Union ceased to exist, and this is true of pretty much of all of Eastern Europe, while they all became capitalists, one thing that they have kept or retained in one form or another is their universal healthcare system. Tell me, from what other people have said, how is the free medical care or relatively free medical care in Russia?
All I've heard is, oh yeah, it's free even for foreigners. I have not been yet, so I don't know if that's true or not. And it's free, and sometimes you have to wait a little bit, but I just feel like I feel like that's not really a bad talking point, considering in the US you have to pay a shitload of money and you have to wait. Like my dad waited like 3 months. My dad waited 3 months to get the consultation for a colonoscopy colonoscopy. 3 months to get a consultation. My dad thought he was getting the actual thing, and he's like, what is just a consultation? I don't need this consultation. I've had this before. What the fuck? I waited for 3 months. That just happened before I left.
Yeah, my
Because I was
parents.
gonna drive him there.
My parents just flew back last week, back home, and they had an extended stay here because my mom, she had a series of miniature strokes, and
Oh no.
no, it's okay, it's okay. There's a specialized doctor that she sees here, and they had to run some tests, and they had to keep delaying, and then they having to fight with insurance and all that. So, I mean. And she didn't have those pesky insurance companies in the way. You can go and get those tests a little bit easier and all that. So I'm glad to know that is free for everybody, including foreigners. It sounds kind of like it's still kind of the way it used to be, or kind of like it is in the UK, the National Health Service, which is basically the same concept. You get it free even if you're a foreigner. So
well, I have not used it yet, so I cannot say for sure, but I will update you because eventually I'm probably gonna use it.
Well, I mean, I've heard other people. I've heard other people actually say that it's pretty good. And the waiting line, but you know what? You don't find any healthcare system that's perfect, especially here in the United States. Yeah, I tell other, if anybody's complaining in other countries, I'm being like, you don't want the American system. Trust me, you do not want the American system. I would not wish this on anybody.
Yeah, sometimes people. Oh, sorry.
No, you go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say some people say, "Oh, well, it's so much more advanced here," or whatever. Okay, do you mean that their office looks more modern in the U.S. than in another country? But I still feel like they have equipment. Maybe it's not brand new, but it still does serve the purpose, right? I don't know. Sometimes some of the older stuff works better than the stuff that's new.
Well, that's just it.
It's materials.
But that's just it. Here in America, they view quality as this really gaudy looking, sterile buildings you see around here, and they think that the prettier and more sleek that the building look, that the better your quality is going to be. And this is the American mindset. I don't give a fuck what the building looks like. I just want the damn service, and do not want to have my asshole financially ripped every time I go to the doctor for a checkup or whatever procedure or whatever we all need as we get older in life. Yeah, I mean, that's what it comes down to. And so that's good to know that the medical care is still in solid and good existence and all of that. So the town, she can pronounce that town again.
Nizhny Vartovsk.
Okay. And I apologize for not being able to pronounce it, let alone trying to spell it sometimes. I was trying to Google the town's time zone to make sure that your time and my time coincide for this interview here a few days ago. But how far away from the Ural Mountains into Siberia is it?
Hang on, I'll ask because I'm not sure. How far from the Ural Mountains? How far from the Ural Mountains are we?
How far from Ural Mountains?
Yeah.
Oh, it's just about 18 hours.
18 hours? 18 hours by car?
Mm-hmm.
18 hours by car.
Wow.
By bus?
Oh, that's
kind of far.
That's quite a distance. Okay. All right. Oh.
I would say how long is a flight to Moscow? Like 2 hours, right?
No, 4.
4 hours.
Like 4.
Oh yeah.
3.
Oh yeah. The time changed. Oh yeah. The flight to Moscow is like 4 hours, or like a little under 4 hours from here.
Wow.
But I just forgot that we changed the time, so it felt like 2 hours. But the time changed because we came that way.
Okay, yeah, yeah. Those time zones will do something to you. I know, as I said in my limited travels in that regard, time zones will kind of do it to you. Yeah. Okay. Pretty good. So as this, yeah, and transportations, you says pretty good and all of that and everything. Attitudes of people when it comes to politics. I mean, how do they, as far as be like, you're an American. How's their attitudes about you being an American?
Um, well, it seemed to be a little bit different I didn't talk to that many people, honestly, but the people in Moscow seem to be more liberal. So, like, more like, oh, we don't like what our country's doing, and ready to like leave. They want to leave. Like a lot of people want to leave us, and it makes sense. Your country is at war. You want to like get out, and maybe they don't understand fully how bad it is. It might be somewhere else. They might just have the idea of being out of their country, and then it seems like people seem to more like understand the necessity of what's going on in this area. So, but I would have to talk to more people, so I need to update you later with more information on that question.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, as I said, because I know that like in the past, yeah, I would, when I'm in another country, I kind of like to talk to people and to find out where their attitudes and their perspectives tend to be and all of that. So, yeah, time, yeah, it's okay. You got all the time in the world. So, and all of that. So, just, entertainment, the nightlife, any.
I didn't go out at night, Willie. I didn't go out at night at all. I just stay inside. Well, I did like I fell on the ice twice when I was in Moscow. So, and then it's been icy here, so it's harder to see at night. I'm just like, I don't want to hurt myself, and it sounds like I'm such a grandma now. I don't really go out. Well, actually, I used to go out a lot before COVID, and then since then, not really much anymore. I'm not really interested. I'm not like opposed to it, but I just haven't really been out at night. So, I told you maybe your interview is going to be boring because I didn't
It's
really
not
get to
boring.
that
I
much.
promise you. You're not. No. You're not boring. No. No. I mean, I'm getting quite a bit out of this interview you're talking about. So, I mean, as I said, these are questions I was going to ask my previous guest who lives in Moscow. So, as I said, I just didn't have time to ask. So, and any, all answers are valid as far as I'm concerned, because just it's your perspective. I mean, and also, and your perspective is value. So you're fine. I promise you. So
All right, thank
as,
you.
yeah. So is there any areas you're planning to visit or any areas you're curious about?
Actually, I'm also still curious about here because I haven't gotten to see that much stuff. Everything's been covered in snow. And then, so I want to see now everything is like melting now. So now I want to go out around here and see what's going on around here. I've only seen it like with a bunch of snow and ice everywhere. And I think that once it starts getting greener, it's going to look totally different. And so I'm interested to see that. Um, but yeah, it's really literally it just snowed like on Saturday, and now it's like finally getting clearer. And I told you it's 6:27 p.m. and it's 53 degrees, and this is a very nice day for here. But I didn't go outside today. Actually,
It's all
I'm
right.
gonna go outside tomorrow. Let's see. I'm just looking at the weather. Oh no, tomorrow's scattered showers. But the weather seems to change every day. I'll look at it and it's supposed to do something and it doesn't do that. But like 60s on Sunday, 65 on Monday. It's better weather to go out and like walk around and not like falling on ice and stuff. But there are like a lot of stray dogs and stuff, which is kind of not friendly dogs. And I like animals, so it's something to be aware of.
Yeah. So, yeah. Now, just one thing that's always amazing in another country, little things that catches my attention. Other people may not matter to them. Little differences. Like sometimes when you look at things like automobiles. What do you? Is there any any significant differences or about the same as far as that's concerned?
As far as looks are concerned, again, everything's been covered in like snow, dust, and like kind of dirty, so I haven't really paid attention. But I know that like here they need to have some extra compartment for like what is the I have to ask you a question, sorry. What's the they keep extra gas in the car, or what's kept in the car, like taking up a lot of space on the back of the car?
No.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
what is that?
Canister
For what?
for gas.
Okay, yeah, there's like an extra gas canister because they need to keep more gas in the car. So, like when I had my luggage coming from the airport, there's not enough space for the luggage in the back of the car. Is that what it's? What is it?
He used just natural gas for as fuel. He have tank in
A natural gas tank. Okay, so the taxi driver had a natural gas tank, so they cannot hold my luggage in the back. There's not enough space. So I don't know. I don't know if people in the US are doing that though. So please, sorry.
I don't really. Yeah. I never really had a gas. I have gas canisters. Never really had it in my car. But what about the price of gas?
No. The price of gas, I don't know because I'm not driving here, and I've been using public transportation. I have no idea. Um, I should go check, and then I'm gonna have to convert from like liters to gallons and try to let you know. But I'm gonna update you on that. I should make a list of all the stuff. I gotta rewatch this stream and make a list of all the stuff so I can answer next time.
Yeah. It's things like that I'm kind of curious about because I know that when I've been, like when I was in England in 2006, the British pound was like $1.98 to the American dollar. And everything was double, when I was there. So it was kind of, it was so, and the gas, the petrol was significantly higher than the little over $2 we were paying at the time back in 2006 that we were all complaining about. So, and $2 a gallon sounds pretty good considering the price today and all of that. So,
how much is it right now in North Carolina? I think that it should be late. It should not be that much in this area because this town specifically is one of the oil gas towns.
Last time I paid, it was like $3.56, $3.59 a gallon. It's something like that. It's creeping back up again. So
when I was there, it was around three. Some places a little bit under.
Yeah,
end of March.
Yeah, it started to creep up again, and I expected it to do so. So, just the insanity abroad, and the American dollar's in trouble because with BRICS and everything. But sorry, the United States cost this on their own. They got nobody to blame. But I'm not sitting there trying to be like, United States, but they brought it on themselves with the bullshit foreign policy. Yeah, it didn't have to be this way, and we Americans are gonna suffer as a result of our stupid politicians here in the United States, and stupidity in the United States when it comes to Washington D.C. It's not in short supply. So so it's just it's just frustrating, just daily, just watching our politicians and seeing some of the people apologize from all sides for their side, because I don't have a side in American politics anymore. It seems to be less and less and less these days.
Not worth. Not worth. And I'm waiting for more people to say they don't have a side and they're ready. They're done with it. Like, it's so ridiculous at this point. I don't know.
I have a feeling if I lived in Russia that I would have more optimistic choices at the ballot box, because I know the Duma has a healthy electoral system compared to our system here in that regard. You know.
Are you telling me that people actually voted for this dictator?
That's what I tell people. I tell people who are critical and be like, look, you know, objectively, there's more authoritarianism in the Ukraine, you know, and I explained that, you know, with the 13 political parties that were banned, you know, just like, I don't think there's any political party in Russia that's banned so far as I know. And so, you know, as I said, you know, he's not a dictator. He was elected by the people. You Americans may not like it, you know. I mean, hell, I don't like that the Israelis elected Benjamin Netanyahu. Okay, I didn't like it that Margaret Thatcher was reelected time and time again in the 1980s in the UK. You may not like a person in another country who got elected, but you know it is what it is. That's how I look at it.
Yeah. So, can I ask you a question?
Sure, I'm all ears.
I think I know the answer already, but how do you feel about this group of people? Crystal Ball, Brianna Joy Gray, Kyle Kalinske, and their whole like Marianne Williamson weird thing. Because it's not like I didn't like know these people know that this shit is rigged, but they're still like, woo, Marianne Williamson. What? I don't know. How do you feel about that? And also your take on RFK Jr. I want to know.
Okay, I'm going to. Okay, I'm going to do.
If that's okay.
I will tell you. I'll tell you my thing. I am actually going to do a video on RFK and Marianne Williamson very soon.
Oh, don't tell me too much then.
But no. I will give you my rough take because you know when I look at RFK, he's sort of like for those who are supporting him, he's kind of like the political weirdos that were into Dennis Kucinich in 2004, 2008, or those who like Ron Paul in 2008, 2012, Bernie Sanders in 2016, 2020, those who like Tulsi Gabbard in 2020, people in the past who like
populist pick.
Yep, and your eccentric Trump supporter in 2016 all roll up into one. And you know, when you have people like when you have people as diverse as I don't know, is Kim Iverson and and a Ron Paul type and people like that all into RFK. I'm just like, this is a very strange individual. And basically this is going to sound, some people take it, some people they'll be like, oh, you're terrible for saying it like this. He's basically Tulsi Gabbard 2.0 without the sex appeal.
I mean, I can see why you said that. I feel like he says a lot of good things and a lot of things that people want to hear, but then he sneaks in a little bit of shit that I'm just like, what the hell? This is not good. This is not something that the country needs. But, it's all a scam anyway. So it's like, don't put so much effort into it. If he can change some people's minds about their political ideology, then nice.
But and he's wishy-washy on Oh, I'm sorry.
No.
Oh, he's wishy-washy on Medicare for all, and he likes Hillary Clinton a lot. Strike
and Biden's friend.
Yeah. And with Marianne Williamson, on one hand, she's a likable person. On one hand, she's a likable person, and she's trying to be Bernie 2.0. And while I am very irritated with Bernie Sanders now these days, more than I've ever been in my life, as far as policy, he's second to none. It'd just be nice if he can be aggressive about those things, those good things he's for. But she's not even I don't think she has the chops that he has when it comes to policy. That's part of it. And I do think that with Crystal and Kyle, there is a little bit of a grift going there. They're looking for their Bernie. They're trying to keep 2016 and 2020's spirit alive and all that. Sorry to break it to them, but the Bernie movement's dead.
Late.
It's
too
dead.
late. Yeah,
We're back to
I agree.
2014, 2012. We're back to that. I mean,
2008.
Yeah. We are.
But worse. But worse.
Yeah. And Bernie had any integrity. I would respect him more if he chose one of those two, if he had to choose and work within the two-party system. But no, I'm going to support my good friend, Joe. I'm probably not going to vote in 2024.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Nace Garden is here.
Hey, Nace, how are you?
Tom Bradford.
Yeah.
I followed him on Twitter.
Yes. So, as I said, and I'm so tired of Bernie, wanting to hang out with his good friend Joe, and I said this morning. I said, Joe Biden is not my good friend. He's
nobody's friend. He's not a friend of the people.
He was a segregationist back in the day. Granted, he was no less dramatic. He wasn't Lester Maddox, and he wasn't George Wallace. He wasn't to that level. But when you say that you don't want your kids going to a quote unquote concrete jungle, that's pretty damn racist. And the crime bill, and when Bill Clinton, when the Democratic Leadership Council and the Bill Clinton, all of them were starting their grift, Reaganizing the Democratic Party, Joe Biden was right there behind them, humming along the way. He's been perpetually part of the problem. He voted for the Iraq War. Every wrong decision, voted to repeal Glass-Steagall. Every wrong decision you can imagine, Joe Biden's consistently been there. I don't need anybody to guilt trip me into trying to vote for Biden in 2020. I almost did out of a guilt trip, but I'm like, why the hell should I? He's a conservative Democrat.
Trump's bad, though. You got to do it. We got to save democracy.
Yeah, I know. God. I know he was running against the orange Cheeto, the grown-up, oversized orange Cheeto. I understand that, but I figured that Trump was possibly going to lose anyway, too, and he did. And so.
Well, he was calling that he got cheated before the election even happened. Yeah. So it seemed like, why is this happening? He was a little bit dramatic, or very dramatic, and it's just like, come on. But also, like, God, fucking Biden. This sucks. Everything sucks.
Let's make a disclaimer so this video doesn't get taken down. We're not engaging in conspiracy theories about elections.
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine. But we have to be careful about that, because sometimes, sometimes the words.
I got one of those.
Those algorithms will interpret it the wrong way, and those algorithms are unforgiving. So
I got it. I got it before too. Yeah. I'm sorry. I didn't think.
No. You're fine. You're fine. So, I don't talk about the 2020 or 2016, 2020 primaries as detailed as I used to for that reason, because I told you actually when I got taken down last year, it was around the time I was supposed to interview you.
Maybe it's bad because every time that you're going to interview me, you get taken down.
No,
the curse of my interview.
No, it wasn't. Last year, I was criticizing Liz Cheney, and I commented on the 2000 election, and YouTube thought I was talking about the 2020 election, and my video was taken down, and they said, "You were engaging in conspiracy theory about the election." I'm like, oh, shit. Oh, so, yeah, I just kind of like, well, that's how it is. But I think I probably trust the electoral system over there probably more than here. I mean, in that regard, probably shouldn't even say that, but you know what I mean. Well, I mean, the idea of multiple parties is what I'm referring to, and
Yeah,
and
having something else.
I mean, to me, it just makes sense that we have to work toward dismantling the two-party system here in the United States. It's just not working. But you know, you talk to Americans, and they will tell you themselves they don't like it. Well, why don't you vote independent? Oh, we can't do that.
Why not?
The other side could make win. I mean,
Because I've been brainwashed into thinking that I can actually change something with my votes.
yeah,
The only thing you're going to change is if you don't vote for them. Then they're going to see, like, hey, we're losing votes. Like, maybe we should actually do something for the people. Nobody voted for us. What's going on? You know, I don't know. I don't have the answer, but I just feel like if people keep doing the same thing that hasn't worked for so long, well, gonna
well,
try something else.
yeah. The way I see it is that that you know, I will remain a registered voter. I just if I even if I even if I never vote again, I still need to remain a registered voter just to send a message. There's a symbolic message behind that. Or if I do vote for a referendum or something of that nature. Or go and vote, you know, be like the Republican that's fed up with Republicans and they rely on the libertarians. I can rely on the Greens. So there's that. Yeah. So
how do you
you know,
How about Howie Hawkins?
I found out certain things about Howie Hawkins. We never met. He knows who I am. I know who he is, but we never met. But I knew we knew of each other when I was in the SPUSA because he's in the Socialist Party USA still to this day. I found out that he's a little bit hawkish on the Ukraine-Russia situation.
Yeah, I've been to his live stream, and I was just like, "What the hell? I don't understand why you're supporting Ukraine."
When I was in the SPUSA, the one thing that they would cancel culture you over, and it'd be the one area where I would agree with cancel culture for damn sure, is any support for war. I mean, if you were in any way sympathetic toward humanitarian intervention or whatever that still ends up being a way to bomb another country, they would the members and the leadership they would just rain on your ass about that. It would be like you know, they would just not let you live it down. And frankly, that's the one area where I think that I would be okay with giving somebody a lot of shit on.
I agree.
Yeah, because you know, and I wasn't even that strong of a pacifist years ago. I was always a pacifist, but I've just gotten to be more. The more I realize what the military-industrial complex, how cancerous it is, and what grip it has on our politicians, and even the culture wars that perpetuate our foreign policy. It just like, you know, you got to go and put a stop to this somehow. And so whether we're talking about evangelical Christians on the right or purple hair woke skulls on the college campuses, I mean, they perpetuate a toxic side of a culture war, and it somehow streams into foreign policy.
What about those TikTok kids? On Tim Dillon.
Oh, well, I kind of think they're just wanting to call attention to themselves.
The clips, though, the clips were good. That guy's like, "Don't clip this," and it's just like I keep seeing the clips everywhere. After I watched that yesterday, this is our future, right? I don't know. But the actual younger people that I know, like around that age, I never hear them talking about Democrats. I do feel they more talking about like special social issues, but not saying that they're for Democrats, you know. But maybe it's just my surroundings.
Yeah. Well,
Anyone else have any?
I still think that I would have thought that the two-party system and all of that would just go away eventually. I used to think that back in the 1990s that there will be a time that it will have gone away, and somehow still stays with us. I don't know. Like Brianna Joy Gray says one day, she said, you know, she said this on Rising. I don't know if I still have any hope at all because you know what she sees with the Democratic Party and Republican Party, and nobody willing to go and do anything independently to see what can happen, and so and all of that. But anyway, let's see here. What else is going on? So the food. Tell me what the cuisine is like in Russia.
I didn't. I know I keep saying like I didn't eat that much variety of stuff. There's a lot. There seems to be a lot of bakeries and a lot of cabbages and cucumbers and tomatoes and stuff like that. And in Moscow, I try a lot of shawarma because there's a lot of those around. And also, I tried Burger King once, which I felt like it's weird. You gotta pay for like ketchup and every sauce. It's weird to me. Um, I don't know. I feel like I really like spicy food and I like a lot of Asian foods. I feel like there is like dumplings, which kind of reminds me of Asian foods, but I like more spicy type stuff. So I'm a little bit sad because I'm more interested in those cuisines. But I'll be fair, since I've been here, the family that's here, the mom's cooking me like very good food, but I don't know if it's specifically Russian food or just food that she's making. So I can't say for sure, but I feel lucky to stay here now because I've been treated very well.
Yeah, there are some disputed borders between Russia and China, where they have to negotiate what territory goes on which side. I saw a video once where there was like a town or a community, and they were Russian, but the territory was ceded to China. So, but the architecture, the culture, the Orthodox Church, the whole 9 yards, everything you can imagine was all in Russia. But and I mean, the people are, obviously Caucasian and all that, but they're part of China. They speak Chinese, but everything is culturally Russian. And
That's interesting.
Yeah, that was very interesting. And it goes back to the early 60s when Russia and China were not really getting along too well back then. Where I think that we were more worried back then of Russia and China nuking each other than them nuking us during the Cold War, which we were worried about that, but I think we were more worried about them, nuking each other because tensions were not good back then between those two countries, which that eventually, got repaired over the years and all. But so, let's see what else I was going to say. Is there any musical acts in Russia that you like? Have you discovered any music that you like over there?
Not yet. I feel like that's my answer to everything that you've asked me.
Okay.
Oh, not
okay.
yet.
Okay, well, let me suggest for you to listen to Multidoma. That's what I will say. I think that's how you pronounce them. They have a Belarusian lead singer, and the group is Russian. Let me suggest that to them. That I do listen to them. They're great.
Okay. Well, I've more been like, so since I need to learn to speak or whatever, I've been more like watching movies with subtitles and stuff like that. And they're like cheesy movies, but I've been watching, like, there's a channel on YouTube that I was watching a lot of since I got here, so I wasn't really listening to that much music. And I'm the type of person that mostly listens to the music in the car, and since I haven't been driving, it's not really something that I've been doing. I see Nace Gardens asked how Russians feel about America. I think most Russians are pretty positive about American people still, or the place, but maybe not about the government, from what I've seen.
Yeah,
But I don't think I don't feel like I don't feel like most people take out the government's actions on the people, as in the way you might see a lot of people do in the U.S., or which I've noticed.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. I'm trying to think here. As far as yeah, I mean, you know, now I just think that a lot of people, one reason I'm glad I'm interviewing you today is that, you're giving a good, honest American answer about your life over there. And it's not this dark, dystopian society that a lot of Americans tend to view. And I even confess, as an American, sometimes, even though I don't suffer from Russia derangement syndrome, have never suffered from it. Sometimes you kind of look through it through the other country with a kind of a gray lens, sort of. It seems that that's not necessarily always the case. Would I be correct?
I believe you're 100% correct. But before I came here, my mom told me, because I said I want to come here and visit my friend in Siberia. She's like, "Why do you want to go to hell?" And I was just like, "Okay." And then I told my dad, and then my dad told my aunt, and she's like, "Don't go to Russia, Vladimir Putin, all of this stuff." And it's just like, I just got tired of telling people that I was coming, because I just kept getting shit from like everyone that I was telling. So I was like, okay, you know what? I'm just not going to tell anyone. Then my dad's like, "You need to call your grandpa." And I was like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I just don't feel like dealing with this. Like, and he didn't want me to come. And right before I was leaving, they did another like warning: Americans need to get out of Russia or whatever. And I was like, fuck, another one. And then my dad's like, I don't want you going. You're not going to go. And I was like, I'm going. This is the only time I'm ready to go already. Like, sorry, I'm old already. Can I just go?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm glad you're there, because I'm glad you're able to see for yourself, and kind of I figure you're safe there, but I just you want to go and see for yourself what things are like and everything like that. What about now, like, as far as crime, we got crime everywhere. You can't escape crime. As far as safety is concerned, how's Russia compared to here in the United States?
From what I've seen, everything seems pretty safe. I think the more dangerous thing, it might be like some wild animals or something, or like the stray dogs that are not like friendly. And I like animals. I mentioned earlier. I think you're more at risk from some wildlife than like other humans, but of course you could meet the wild like human somewhere, or maybe stay away from people drinking too much, because anywhere it could be a problem. Some people get angry when they're drinking, but I haven't encountered anything negative like that since I've been here.
Yeah, I have a friend that visits Norway every couple of years, and in his visit to Norway, his family lives near the Swedish border, and taxes are so high up in Norway that they have to go to Sweden to shop and do their shopping, because taxes, this is the funny part, taxes, this is the low tax place to go is over to the border in Sweden. And it's just kind of, when you think about that concept, because we Americans, we look at Sweden and we're like, oh yeah, taxes are high. That's how they pay for all those public services over there, those goodies that we could never dream of having here in the United States. And I would say that Russia probably has some of those things that they would have in the Scandinavian countries too. So you think about that concept there and everything, and just will you say there's poverty? How's poverty when you compare poverty in the United States to Russia? You get it everywhere, but what do you think? Who do you think who do you think has suffered the worst between the U.S. and Russians when it comes to poverty for individuals?
All right, from what I've seen, the amount of money people make here is obviously going to be less than Americans make, but you can see I don't think I've seen any homeless people since I've been here, or obviously homeless people since I've been here or in Moscow. Maybe it could be the areas that I'm at, but I didn't see any. But I saw tons of homeless people in the US. You know, I was in San Diego a bunch there, and in Los Angeles a lot there. I saw in Vegas. And I drove across the country. I saw homeless people all around the country, and even in North Carolina before I left. And it's very obvious, but it's also, you know, a culture of like people not really taking care of their loved ones, or like if they're down, they might not have anyone to go live with, so they might end up in the street. But I feel like if someone has a problem here, people are more likely to take care of their friends and family. Just in general, I feel like people are warmer to others and their needs. But that's also a thing I noticed when I lived in Asia too, and or in Thailand specifically. But I also know that homeless people, or at least homeless men, can go stay in the temple in Thailand if they don't have anywhere to live, like the Buddhist temple.
Right. I figured that the poverty, overall poverty, would be not as problematic over there in that regard. And I think it might be a hangover from the days of, and Yankee Tanky and I had this chat when he was on my show. I said, and I told him, you know, whatever ideological problems I've had with the Soviet Union, you know, from years past, the one thing I have never ever condemned or viewed negatively when I said that they had health care for everybody, a job for everybody, housing for everybody that was guaranteed. Those
vacations for everyone too.
Vacations, thank you, for everybody. Those are good things, and I would never, ever condemn those good things that they have done. They could have been a little bit better on civil liberties, granted, but you know, those are good things that can never can be taken away. And you know, and I don't care what right winger gets offended when I tell them that these right wingers, they can fuck off, because they'll tell me how great Chile was under Pinochet, that caused a lot of misery in Chile in the 1970s, and you know, most Chileans I talk to do not like Americans for what happened in Chile in the 1970s and 80s. So, but so, you know, as I said, whatever was problematic about the Soviet Union, I'm more social democratic, obviously. So that's where I stand. But those tenets that existed in the Soviet Union and elsewhere where they had that system, those things that were guaranteed, healthcare, education, jobs, vacation time, those things, good things, positive development. That's something that we should also.
That's true. I was just saying that's why everything was growing. It's not like, okay, people thrive when their needs are met, and you know, they're appreciated for what they're doing. They're offered opportunity to spend their time doing something. And I'm so sorry that I always interrupt. I don't.
No, you're fine. Yeah, you're fine. No, their military industrial complex. You know, collapse the country in the way that our military industrial complex will collapse ours here. And that's what it comes down to. And the sooner each country realizes that runaway military budgets is what kills progress in their country, the better that their society will become. Yeah,
agreed.
Yeah, you know, and I just wish that people will realize that one of these days. You know, you don't need anything but maybe maybe a little National Guard Defense Force, just in case, and maybe something like a Coastal Guard or whatever. That's all you need. That's all you would need, you know, just in case something happens. But nothing that's going to sit there is going to wreck your economy. You know, all that money could be put into healthcare and public transit and housing. And just and if you want to be fiscally conservative and pay off the national debt, I'd rather go there do that than to drone strike innocent people in another country. So yeah,
Makes sense.
yeah. So there is that and everything. Is there anything else you might want to add to this conversation here?
I don't really have anything else, but I did want to thank you for having me come on. And sorry that we just finally got the chance because of everything had the way it worked out. And I also want to come back later to answer your questions better.
Oh, all you have to do is say, Willie, let's do another chat here, and I will make it happen. So
I want to come with you and Jimmy.
Oh, you mean like do a show together or something?
Maybe, but in a while. I know that we're just doing this right now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Or just you too. You too. By the way, both of you. I just missed Jimmy and I didn't see her show for a while.
Yeah, the KRTD Media will probably be back next. If it's not going to be back, well, I guess we should be back by. She should be next Monday. She should be back on the air if everything goes right. So, and I should be back the following Saturday. So, there is that. I'm so glad they were understanding about my situation, because I did not know that what I was going to do was going to cost that situation to happen. Yeah. Oh well. Just to do a stream and to get shut down in the middle of it. I'm like, holy crap. Yeah. So
it happens.
Yeah. Yeah. Warren and Jimmy were talking about it on the Secret Show that night. And so yeah, just they mentioned our friend over here, Choosey Heretics, Choose Carnation Revolutions now. He's been wanting somebody to talk about the Carnation Revolution, and somebody's talking about it, and it got shut down in midstream. But I told him the other day that we will be revisiting the Carnation Revolution on my stream, but there will be no copyright infringement that's going to take place. I'm going to make damn sure there's not going to be a copyright strike. So it's going to get revisited as a stream, because that's something I'm passionate about, very passionate about. So
I'm going to answer Nays Garden's question. Can I?
Sure.
Nays Garden, I don't know if you're still here. Yeah, I think people do, but it's not like in California, because I didn't smell it the whole time I've been here.
Oh gosh, yes, yeah. Nays Garden is going to be a guest tomorrow on my show, by the way.
Interesting.
At 11 a.m. Yeah, he and I we've been talking a few times. Last week when I was still on strike, I'm having trouble with Discord. So we were having I'm trying to, maybe it's me, but I'm not used to Discord, but I think we were having some issues with it. But we're gonna have a proper stream where we'll be able to do a good chat and everything. And he's interesting to talk to and all that. So Nays, I'm looking forward to tomorrow to let you know. So so there's that. We have some people on the chat line. We can just go ahead and chat with them for a minute, and then I guess I'll let you be on your way. So okay. Punisher, we see Punisher here, and we say hello to who's this person, Nikki? This person, I can't read Russian.
It's Max. I live with him.
Okay. Hi, Max. How are you today? I'm sorry, I can't read the Russian names. Sorry about that. SSJ for Curtis. Good morning to you. And we have Tom Bradford, who lives in Switzerland. And so it's Exxon Global Grand. They have them over here where I'm at, where I am. He and I talked about doing a show eventually. So Tom, if you're still interested, I'd like to have you on the show still. So we need to talk. So let's see, global brand. I mean, that's okay. All right, and let's see. Let's see, what's that? LP for Rusk. Sup, comrades? What is up? Hot retarded chicks. Hey, how are you doing today? Yeah, she's always good. Always enjoy seeing her streams, her chats up. See, whoever she is. Juicy Heretic Excuses says, good morning. Let's see. You want a boring interview? Interview me. You're not boring, Tom. Not at all. Yeah, I saw that earlier. I'm old enough to remember ESO in America. Yeah, as I said, in Puerto Rico, it's still called ESO. So you should translate Swiss francs per liter to US dollar per gallon. It would be around $8 a gallon. So yeah, Americans have nothing to complain about. Nay's Garden says hello. And the way I'm trying, my mouse doesn't work anymore, so I'm having to do this by hand.
Oh, you want me to do it?
Let's see.
Anonymous says hi, Willie.
Oh, okay. Hi, Anonymous. Okay. Let's see. We have here.
There's a lot of messages.
Okay. If you want to, I would do that. I try to make sure everybody's taken care of, and all that. So I'm looking
through everyone.
Yeah, we have a few more people here. Oh, actually,
Anonymous wants to hear you talk about American healthcare system versus European single payer, which I think you already even mentioned that earlier.
Oh,
so maybe they have
yeah.
to rewind the stream.
I tell people, don't do it. If you live in another country has universal healthcare, even if there's some bugs in the system, you're
still better off.
Your light rain would turn into a category 100 hurricane. It would turn your little splash in the beach would turn into a tsunami. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. I tell you, don't do it.
Anonymous says they found you in Kyle Klinsky comment section.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I remember. Yeah. I saw that. I saw Anonymous the other day. Yes. So, yeah. I still listen to Kyle occasionally. As I said, he still has a decent commentary. The one he did on
weekly.
Ron DeSantis was decent. The one he did on Ron DeSantis being a war criminal. Hands down, that was a good one, because his imitation of Donald Trump. He said Donald Trump would just brag that he engaged in torture, whereas Ron DeSantis did his little song and dance, and he did his little Donald Trump impression of taking the credit of engaging in torture and all of that. So he made my uptight dad laugh in 2016 when he called Ted Cruz the P word regarding torture, because I don't like Ted Cruz, but he's opposed to torture. He said he was opposed to torture. Okay, stop clock. So he's the stop clock, and so somebody said that Ted Cruz was a P word. He said, "Oh, don't ever say that again. Don't ever say that again. I don't ever hear you say that again." And the people was like, "What did she say?" Well, she said that Ted Cruz was the P word. It was like he went around about way to insult Ted Cruz. It was just like, damn, that's funny as hell. And my dad was busted out laughing. He was just like, wow, he was just amazed by that. So
it takes time sometimes. I was just saying it takes time sometimes. It takes time sometimes to correct someone.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So anyway, well, I guess I said, just come on back to the show and let us know. There will be more questions, I promise you.
Oh no. Okay. Thank you so much. And thank you everyone that's come here to watch this.
Okay. And Nikki, when I signed off, I got to talk to you real briefly. So anyway, and then I will let you go too. So hold on a second.
Okay, cool.
All right, let me do this real quick here.